So what should we make of President Obama's Oval Office address? A pterodactyl? A paper airplane? Well, let's ask the party panel. Tonight, it's Carla Shimkus, Fox News Headlines 24/7 reporter on Sirius XM Channel 115. Michael Malice is back. He's the author of the book you need to read immediately. It is called, Dear Reader, it is all about North Korea and Will Ron. He's the anchor of the panel. He's also the Daily Beast Washington bureau chief, and he is not wearing the suit jacket. Welcome to one and all.
Thank you for having us.
Great to have me being you there.
Yeah.
So happy everyone is here. So will the president basically lectured bad Americans because we're a bunch of gun-toting Muslim haters. That's what I took out of the address. What did you take?
Yeah, I think a lot of people probably walked away from the speech with that impression. It was a mediocre speech. It was a disappointing speech.
Yeah.
It fits in nicely with the Democratic response to San Bernardino, which began immediately within hours of the attack with, you know, this prayer shaming and stop saying you're praying for them, then immediately pivots to gun control, and then embraces this terror watch list that civil libertarians on the left have been fighting for years.
Yeah.
It was an unserious, plotting, short-sighted, tactical response on behalf of Obama and the Democrats, and I think they're going to pay for it politically.
All right, so what could he have said? What could he have possibly said to, so Americans would stand up today and say, you know what, the president had it absolutely right on, I feel so much better.
I don't think the left has the philosophical capacity to handle this issue because they're so scared of Islamophobia and they're so grounded in fighting racism. If you listen to the Democratic Party, we need gun control in order to fight global warming because global warming is what's causing ISIS. So he has no capacity for really understanding what's going on. Yeah. And I agree with you, he's worried about his legacy, but his legacy is one of we made the world respect America rather than I made America safe. So he feels powerless, and I think he is powerless to some extent. These people are lunatics. There's not that much you could do about it if one person wants to kill themselves, take out others with him. Yeah. So Obama's in a tight spot in his defense.
You're absolutely right. I mean, your 7th year in office, it's really hard to say something with enough gravity and seriousness without being an alarmist that people take seriously themselves. So what did his speech boil down to for you, Carla?
You know, he did say a lot of pretty words, but what it boiled down to was that we're just going to keep doing exactly what we're doing. And a lot of the American public, and me included, does not think that that's enough. He talked, like you said, a lot about gun control and rejecting radical Muslim extremist rhetoric. But what he really should be saying is that we're going to strike back on this terrorist threat very hard. He's putting America on the defense when really America and the American people deserve, at this point, to be on the offense.
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of dangerous because if you're striking back hard, that's just going to breed a lot of more blowback, and it's very, very tricky. It's not you can't kill everyone, and then people who are left are going to be very resentful.
But I do think he needs to rethink his stance on where he stands on Syrian refugees, which I think a lot of people could have, if he said that, have been feeling a little bit better today.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be pushing that issue very strong in the next few weeks.
Nor do
I think it's interesting because there has been a way for the left to respond to this where you don't necessarily have to be statist zealots. But unfortunately for them, the winds of political favor are blowing toward the Republicans with these national security issues. I mean, terrorism and safety don't play to Democrats' strengths, and they needed to be much more analytical about their response instead of being so emotional, which, if the election were held today, I don't think it would bode well for Hillary Clinton. That Bernie Sanders, on the other hand, what a hot pot of coffee. Meanwhile, Republicans are offering their own strategy for confronting terrorism. Here's but a taste.
If you wage jihad against us, you're signing your death warrant.
This flirtation with isolationism in the Republican Party is over.
They didn't want to profile. Can you believe this? They didn't want to profile, even though they thought something very bad was going on. At least I would certainly go after the wives who absolutely knew what was happening.
All right. How do you prove that? I see a new brand of statism brewing on the right. What do you see?
Yeah, it's kind of gross. I mean, isolationism is just a pejorative way of saying, why are we in all these other countries? And when we are in these other countries, they're going to resent us for being there, and some people are crazy enough to do something about it. I say let them kill each other off, overseas, and back up Israel and let Israel do what it wants and get its hands dirty. And there's no reason for our brave men and women to be there in the middle of this fight when everyone's a villain.
It's an amazing thing seeing it in the polls right now as steadily increasing in numbers of Americans want to reintroduce ground forces into Iraq.
Yeah, it's now 53%.
Yeah, that's a remarkable thing to see because we've been involved militarily in Iraq so many times now. We keep on invading, and it's always to correct the mistakes of the last time we invaded, and it looks like what we're going to do again.
I mean, isn't that what you're doing fighting ISIS, though? I know Republicans say, well, if only the president had stayed with the surge, we would have defeated AQI and ISIS never would have sprouted up. I don't necessarily buy that.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily buy into blowback either, only because I think blowback is naive, because if we're saying, you know what, it's all our fault, we're sorry, we're going to go away.
It contributes, though.
Yeah, no, I do think there is a contribution. I absolutely do. And I think invading Iraq in the first place created this environment. I think both presidents are to blame.
Yeah.
But the question is, Carly, what do we do now?
Well, I think talking about that 53% that want to have troops on the ground, it's because people are really scared right now. And if we look at the response from President Obama's speech yesterday, everybody sort of responded according to their obvious political perspectives. Now, besides Donald Trump, who live tweeted the speech and said a lot of really silly things, which make me believe, and he sort of proved that he is not ready to be the commander-in-chief. He talked about things like making fun of President Obama for saying ISIS instead of ISIL, and commenting on how there are no Muslim sports heroes when President Obama said there was. Really nitpicking
What about
on
Ahmad Rashad?
Muhammad Ali?
Right, exactly. And nitpicking on these non-substantive issues when people like Ted Cruz shined and said really powerful things like they are going to destroy the Islamic State. I know it's silly because it's, you know, a simple tweet, but that's really how Americans perceive these candidates going forward.
What's silly is the idea that Ted Cruz and the American government has the capacity to destroy an ideology. That's something that's literally incoherent and impossible. So I'd rather he be making fun of the president than saying, I'm going to make an idea vanish from the earth.
And Ted Cruz a month ago was warning against intervening in a Syrian civil war like this. I mean, he's been all over the place.
Yeah, he's been anti-interventionist several times.
Yeah.
And, you know, hopefully with a capable moderator that will come up in the next debate. You know, we'll come up with my panel in moments. They're going to return to talk about the new postmodern terror threat and how we can possibly fight these people. More guns, more profiling? We'll debate it all. Plus, the president wants to use no-fly lists for greater gun control. Judge Napolitano on deck to break down how your rights are in danger. We are all in deep yogurt. Please stay here. Hi there and welcome back. The San Bernardino shooters are a new form of domestic terrorists, and they're a husband and wife team of radical Muslims inspired by ISIS, but not necessarily directed by them. So how can we fight postmodern terrorism? The panel is back. Carly Shimkus, Michael Malice, and Will Ron. You know, a lot of people think there's a pretty easy solution to this. Just go over to the Middle East, get 100,000 ground troops, and kill them all. I still think that you would have the ideology that we talked about. How do you fight a postmodern terror threat?
Well, I think the issue is this is going to be going on for quite a while, and all my friends on the left point out that these refugees aren't terrorists and they're not the ones who become terrorists. That's true, and that their kids do. The kids become radicalized. The kids are natural citizens.
Yeah.
So why are we importing people whose children are going to grow up to be threats to our children? It makes absolutely no sense. If we had a privatized sense of responsibility, you want to bring a refugee over, you have to be responsible for that family and its consequences.
Okay, but that's an unpopular view in libertarian circles right now. I mean, I'm actually surprised to hear you say that because
I've never been called unpopular before.
No, but you yourself are an immigrant.
And I was sponsored by a family. You know what I mean? So, and yes, I grew up and I became radicalized. I became anti-Constitution. But I'm not radicalized and blowing up schools because I'm awesome.
All
These people are
there you go.
awesome.
So that is the level for awesome.
But you think there's a necessary relationship between being from Syria and coming to this country and having a natural hatred?
Damascus for centuries was a center of international Jewish culture. Come the 90s, there were like 10 Jews left because they were treated so badly. So I am not going to lift one finger to help these people. We ran away from them already. I don't want them next door to me.
Yeah. What do you do? I mean, do you tell everyone to arm themselves?
No, you don't do that.
What about just the good people who are great shots?
Yeah, sure. Just the good Christians of Middle America. They should arm themselves. Us coastal people, no, we should stay unarmed. And so here's the thing that politicians don't say, but if they're completely honest, they would. They don't want to be insensitive to people's anxieties.
Yeah.
So, they don't. But the chances of anyone watching this in the United States being killed by a terrorist are vanishingly small.
Yeah.
There's so many other...
And that's a point that Giuliani was making, is you can't act as though you're going to be in an imminent terrorist attack. You have to act as though life's still pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, look, gun violence has been going down for decades.
Yeah.
The threat of, we can laugh about ISIS being contained or not contained, but this is what, I believe that their first really serious pulled off attack in the American homeland. That's...
If it was ISIS sponsored
If it was even
or directed.
ISIS, I mean, if this was a self-radicalization thing, there's really no way to.
But if it is
fight
self-radicalization, how do you fight that? I guess that's the big worry. Is there are a bunch of nutbirds out there who go overseas. They feel bad for having a pretty moderate and healthy American way of life. They're shamed in a different context. They come back and they go insane.
And a lot of people that are at the greatest threat of becoming radicalized, like you said, are young. So you have to go where young people go to fight this, which is social media, which is Twitter and Facebook. There was a study that just came out that said there are 300 Americans that are spreading ISIS propaganda in the United States already that we know of.
Yeah.
And it's like a game of cat and mouse where you take down a Twitter account and then another one pops up. And these ISIS and jihadi extremists are slowly integrating weak people that are just a little bit curious about, jihadi beliefs and slowly taking them over. You need to cut that. You need to cut the head off the snake much better. So people that are running Twitter, people that are running Facebook need to do a much better job of doing that.
I worry that they're going to operate with the federal government under coercion, and the government is going to force tech companies to...
Which could happen.
It's not a good idea. That's not a good solution, is
it? And if there was one head and one snake, the problem would be fine. We killed bin Laden, and we got rid of kind of al-Qaeda, and now you have ISIL. That's the issue. But the thing is, I disagree with Will. It's not just the terrorism. It's that these are people who think homosexuality should be criminalized, that a woman's natural place is to be subordinate to a man, who think Israel should be wiped off the map. Their ideology is foreign to ours, and even the moderate ones are people I have issues with.
And that's your ideology, right?
What's that? All those things?
Oh, God.
I'm not that moderate. I guess on TV I got to tone it down.
We can recognize that is a deeply evil ideology. At the same time, we have a way of overreacting to these things in such a way that we cut down substantially on civil liberties, and we always regret it. And then it happens again, and we just we follow the exact same play.
I agree with you, but
unfortunately, we have to go. We have to continue this conversation because this is a dream come true. These are the discussions that we have to have, because I don't consider them to be that reactionary and hyperbolic. I think that these are really important issues, and don't worry, we're gonna party with the panel so much tonight because it's a Monday party panel, and a Monday party panel just don't stop. Coming up, a politician sends out a Christmas card showing her entire family armed to the teeth. Yay! But first, Judge Andrew Napolitano joins me to explain how part of the president's response to California terror attacks may run into trouble with the Constitution. Please stay here. Welcome back. Las Vegas Assemblywoman Michelle Fiore. Oh, Michelle. She posted this Christmas photo on Facebook featuring her family holding guns. Oh, there they are. It's so sweet. They've all got matching red sweaters, matching black semi-automatic firearms. And here's Michelle on arming her family for the picture.
That's my grandson, Jake. And if you look at that picture real close, you'll see his finger is not on the trigger. That 5-year-old grandson of mine has total trigger control.
Yeah.
Trigger warning.
That is a trigger warning. Oh, thank you, Michael Malice. The panel is back. Carly Shimkus, Michael Malice, and Will Ron. Look at them all. So, Will, I do believe that a well-armed American public makes the world a safer place. But this is a little weird.
Yeah, it's a little bit, it's kind of a canny move for her as this state rep down in Nevada who instantly has this national profile. And it's because snobby coastal media elites, like yourself, Kennedy, will bring this up to ridicule them.
I'm not ridiculing her.
With their matching sweaters and all their assault rifles.
I think that
These good God-fearing people that you're taunting on national television.
If I'm watching this, I look at that house and I say, I ain't robbing that place.
Exactly.
That is true.
Even if you don't, even if you disagree with this Christmas card particular. I'm not going to say there's anything wrong with it.
You were
Hands
going
up.
to rob it until you got their Christmas card. Is that what happened?
Well, I mean, not rob it, which is burgle it, which is much more gentle. So, Malice, I know that you are probably my favorite Facebook troll. I spend a lot of time on there, and lately Facebook politics have gotten out of hand because, you know, someone wants to talk about gun control, and that brings out your inner troll. What happens when your friends?
Well, I believe all human rights, speech, abortion, gun rights are not up for regulation. I don't need to discuss it. I have a right to own a gun. So a friend of mine posted on Facebook, if you're one of these anti-gun control nuts, let me know so I can rectify it. And I said, right here. And she goes, okay, bye. Well, it turns out I went...
She unfriended you.
Hold on. She showed me.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
It turned out I went to GoDaddy.com, and her first name, last name.com was available, and I bought her domain name, and now in perpetuity, her name resolves to NRA.com. So forever.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Nothing. Literally nothing.
That is
What a time suck. Like,
Is this the best thing that ever happened? It's a Christmas present for
How long
everybody.
did that take you to do?
30, it took me longer to explain it than to do it. Number one.
I don't
And number
know.
two, here's my
No,
actual...
if you know how to do it, that's actually a very
I'm
quick
enough of a
process.
nerd. Don't let the no glasses fool you. Here's the other thing in all seriousness. If the Republicans were smart, they would start pushing for a national individual gun ownership mandate based on Obamacare and watch the left really have meltdowns.
Oh, I've
Well,
never heard of that.
I thought of it.
Oh, very good.
welcome.
It's the Malice rule. Would you be more offended if this group of people were obese and they were seated at an all-you-can-eat buffet?
Yes, because obese people are the bane of our society. I'm kidding. I have no problem with this. Oh, God. Am I going to get now trolled by you?
I think you just trolled yourself pretty well.
I already know all about the Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
No, there is nothing wrong with this card.
Yeah.
It represents what so many Americans feel, and I don't have any problem with it, and I appreciate that they color coordinated.
I actually didn't see the guns at first. Montel posted it on his Facebook page, was like, this is what's wrong with America. And then I was like, oh, that's because they're all
Wow.
dressed in red, and then I saw the guns.
humble bragging there. You're Facebook friends with Montel Williams?
No,
He was on the show.
he was on the show. We argued about gun control, and then he actually posted it to his Twitter page. Thank you, Montel. And thank you.
Humble brag.
Montel and I will be appearing at the Garden State Mall together. Song and dance duo that's fantastic. Nearly every type of pet, except for snakes, is allowed on airplanes if a passenger has medical documentation saying they need their animal for emotional support. A new report says flight attendants are growing very alarmed at the sheer number of flyers apparently faking disabilities to bring their dogs and cats on planes. This drives me so insane. I don't mind having dogs and cats on planes. I think dogs and cats are great. But people who lie and go on eBay and get the little jackets for their pets and get the fake letter from their brother-in-law who went to medical school in the Dominican Republic, it's maddening.
Well, I'm so torn with this
Because you want to sound like a nice person.
I
Let
do
that go here.
understand that people with PTSD and people that really need these service animals do get kind of, they kind of get screwed in this whole thing because then people don't really believe that they have this medical issue. But if I had a pet, I would be very interested in doing something like this myself, because if you don't have a license where that says that you need it on your lap, you have to put your animal underneath your seat, which is terrible.
Or you leave
you're a horrible person.
at home.
How could you even consider doing this?
Sometimes you need to fly with your animal.
Well,
and then
you know
have to
what?
put
So you check them in the thing and you put
They
it in
don't.
the
A
sleep?
lot of
that's
airlines
even worse.
don't let you do that anymore. It's not worse. It's not. You're not torturing an animal. But should there be a special form of punishment for people who
I think
fake
it's
these
really,
certificates?
if you're going to exploit rules like parking in handicap spots to just make things more convenient for yourself, I think that it's as low as it gets, and I've done some pretty low things I just said 2 minutes ago. So look, if you want to pretend you're handicapped, let's make you handicapped. Let's break your leg, put you in a
Wow.
wheelchair. I'm serious. No, these are people who are mentally disabled, who really kind of have anxiety on planes, and they need this companion animal to feel normal. And for that to be your loophole for your little Tinkerbell
they
Chihuahua
can
on your
still
post is
have
disgusting.
That's not a disability, and it does it
hell
casts
outta here.
aspersion on people who have real disabilities.
let's get rid of the babies,
they're
too.
liars. Is there a special place in hell for them?
No, I don't think so on the list of things. I don't know. This doesn't outrage
It's
me
fraud.
like it
It's
does.
total
the two-
fraud. Drives me insane.
Okay, I get it.
A woman took her Vishla into Gelson's the other day.
It's a fallen world, guys. Sorry.
Another woman came up to her and said, "I'm allergic to animals. You're not supposed to bring pets in the store." She said, "It's a therapy dog."
So, Kennedy,
maybe
I'm a solutions-oriented person.
Please, Will.
What I would just like is an airline to say, all right, get rid of the loophole, and what you just say is you bring the dog on, that'll cost you $50.
No. What if you're allergic? What if the dogs start barking?
Well, no, then you don't go on the dog airline. Then Delta has the dogs and American doesn't have the dogs.
Then no fat people airline and no kids airline. Okay, let's get in business. I like where this is going.
And no, I'm not checking you out.
We'll talk in the green room.
No, nothing against you. I'm just deeply germophobic. Trump. Yeah,
He is.
bad.
Is that
He's
true?
the Howie Mandel of the Daily Beast. It says it on his bio.
He's the beast of the Daily Beast.
The panel is going to be back, can you believe it, to react to singer Macy Gray's new song, All I Want for Christmas, which puts gun control and clean energy mandates under the tree for everyone. Get ready for a lefty jingle. But first, former Love Connection host and game show warlord Chuck Woolery is here with his take on the Civil War happening in the Republican Party. Yeah, Chuck. Oh, singer Macy Gray has a new holiday single out. It's called All I Want for Christmas, which skips love and goodwill toward men and goes straight to gun control and the green agenda. Here's a taste.
'Cause everything I'm hoping for is intangible, like free health care and gun control.
Did Bernie Sanders write that?
You know what? That'd be one excuse. She went about this all wrong, you know.
Yeah.
What she should have done, she should have pivoted hard right, because that's when you do when the career starts to cool down. Like Rob Schneider, nobody wants to see Rob Schneider movies anymore, and it's like it's because I'm a conservative. That's why none of the Hollywood people will meet with me.
And then all the Kirk Cameron fans rushed to
Exactly,
his...
Kirk Cameron. You know, if she went out there and she had a thing, it's like all I want for Christmas is King Ted Cruz, then she'd be all over the place. All the right wingers would embrace her.
Single. What else is on her Christmas list?
Well, we know for a fact that Macy Gray, by all accounts, is certifiably insane. So I looked at
walk away in that number.
So I looked at a Christmas list. She also wants a jar of honey, but not the from bees kind, to bring back the Golden Girls via Santeria, a jar of vitamin Z medicine, and there was just the thing that Rick Perry forgot.
Oh, oops.
Yeah.
Come on, Ron. What am I trying to remember here?
You know, I would give this a 3 out of 10 on the cheer scale. She's definitely no Mariah Carey. Plus, she's attacking people in her Christmas song, which is the least Christmassy type of message ever. She attacked Donald Trump.
Oh, how dare she. I'm so happy you guys stuck around. Thank you, Will, Michael, and Carly. All stars, all of them. Lambs of God. Thank you so much for watching the show tonight. Please follow me on Twitter @KennedyNation.